My area of practice is business law. I primarily do transactional work. I've always, going back as a kid, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. I've always been interested in business, trade, commerce, I had the opportunity very early on to go to work with a law firm in St. John's that was very active and had a very strong business commercial practice. I think the thing I value most about my practice is the opportunity to work with all different sectors and different size clients in St. John's and have an opportunity to assist these people with their commercial practices and at times share in some of the wins that they've had over the years. There are 3 or 4 clients in particular that I've been with for maybe 12 years, and some of these clients we start at a very sort of at the infancy. One client in particular in fact started his business with his RRSPs and just recently sold his business for many millions of dollars, and we were quite fortunate to have the opportunity to work with him, and he was quite gracious in terms of thanking us for our efforts along the way. The pinnacle of my career is right now. I'm working in St. John's. St. John's is an area that over the last 20 years has come a long way. There's a statistic out there when I graduated grade 12 in 1991 that about 40% of the students in my class actually left the province of Newfoundland to work elsewhere. My family included, my siblings, we all left. We left at various times and for various reasons, but over the years things have really come a long ways in St. John's. In 1991, just after I finished high school, there was a collapse of the cod fishery, which was quite an event in Newfoundland. And since then, when I came back from law school in 1999, it was I guess the first of 4 major oil-producing sites offshore commenced operations, and since then the other 2 have come online, and a 4th is underway. We've had some very significant mining discoveries in Labrador, and I feel very fortunate to be part of that. In some ways, I've touched on most of those projects. I've had an opportunity to work on all of them. Our city itself has grown considerably economically and otherwise. I'd like to think in 20 years' time I'll look back and think that in some small way I played a part in that. The Newfoundland and Labrador economy is leading the country in many ways. So I work with a regional firm. We have offices in all 4 provinces, and some of these larger projects that are happening in Newfoundland and Labrador, we've had lawyers from across the region in all 4 provinces working on these projects. They obviously have kept a lot of people busy. It's given them an opportunity to work on some very exciting files. I think the sky's the limit in Atlantic Canada, and I'm very glad to be there. Best piece of advice I received from a mentor was my 3rd week as a summer student in my first year in 1997. I was lucky enough to work with a very interesting guy at the time. We don't work together now, but we're still good friends, and he passed along 2 pieces of advice. He came in and shut the door, and he said, Greg, I'd like for you to remember these 2 things as you practice law. First, I want you to remember and respect the difference between right and wrong. And secondly, I want you to never forget your family. And you know, when you think about the practice of law, it's quite demanding on lawyers at times. And we're entrusted with a great deal of responsibility. It's important when we discharge those responsibilities that we do so, always understanding the difference between right and wrong. And when we go to work at times, we do it for our families, but we get caught up in some challenging files, and at times we get distracted, but it's important to remember that we're doing this for our families, and many of us are very, we can be thankful for our families for actually getting us there.